for Amanda. Push down that near wrist. Again, gets through. She should use that left hand to strip that hand down. I mean, really, she's not going to have to do anything, Hal, to get that decision.
Look at that, a little showboat in here. In the last 10 seconds, Amanda Leve knows she's got this in the bag. All the judges' scorecards.
All right, so welcome back to the Loft. This is episode 29. I'm here with the Giant Slayer, Amanda Leve.
Hey everyone.
We'll try to get that nickname going for you.
Yeah, I actually really like the nickname. I was like, damn, I think I want to keep this one.
Who gave it to you?
I don't know. It started online after the match, and I'm like, I guess I'm going to be keeping this for MMA because it's a pretty badass name.
That's awesome, yeah. So if you guys don't know, Amanda Leve from Northeast, went to grade school with her. Just played with my parents' softball team, basketball team, everything. So you're a good, neighborhood, childhood friend. So I wanted to have you on, and obviously you have a lot of success recently. I want to talk about that, and definitely want to. I'm definitely interested because I would see, like I said on social media, I would see you posting you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're starting to wrestle, and I'm like, it's super unique, especially for a girl to be doing that. And then all of a sudden you start taking off, and obviously it's been years and years of work and stuff like that behind the scenes, but for everyone else just to see, it seems like it's just starting to happen, but in reality it's been how long have you been doing it for?
So I started when I was 11, jiu-jitsu.
Comfortable.
And then I did striking, boxing, kickboxing on and off throughout those 13 years.
Right.
And then my dad's a psycho with sports. So
yeah, your dad was at every event.
Yep.
Always in the stands, and his brother too, right?
Yeah, and then his.
So real quick, just want to take a second to thank our sponsors for this episode. Cats Dogs Canine is a one-stop shop for all of your dog needs with training, grooming, boarding, daycare, and more. Located on 35 Mobile Road in Percy, PA. Check out Cats Dogs Canine and let them know the Loft sent you. Hustle and Glow is a mobile spray tan business in the heart of Port Richmond that services all of Philly and its surrounding areas. There are plenty of times people choose not to get a spray tan or have trouble getting spray tans because of the inconvenient travel, no one to watch the kids, car troubles, etc. At Hustle and Glow, we offer a variety of services such as a single spray tan session, group spray parties, and bridal party spray tan packages conveniently in the comfort of the client's own home. For more information or to see their work, you can check out their Instagram at Hustle Glow or book them directly with the link below and let them know the Loft sent you. This episode is also brought to you by Miranda Emily and her Instagram account, Miranda Emily Hair. She's been a stylist for 11 years working at Renee Fox Salon in Feasterville by the Buck Hotel. She specializes in blondes, extensions, etc. This episode is also brought to you by Brittany Keys at Britt Keys Real Estate. She works in the Port Richmond area, Fishtown area, and the surrounding areas as well. She's one of my personal real estate agents for finding my new apartment. She helped me out in a lot of ways. Be sure to check her out in the link in the description as well. She's amazing. She's awesome. And let her know the Loft sent you. This episode is also brought to you by Ryan Tagalamonte Realty at Serenity 21 Realtors. He is another up-and-coming real estate agent. Just like Britt, he works in the Philly area and the surrounding areas. They both helped me find my apartment. They both sent me their portals and helped me find great locations for great prices. And they were able to find the places that no one else is able to find. So also check out Ryan Tagalamonte Realty. He will be linked in the description as well. All the following sponsors for this episode will be linked in the description. They all offer amazing products, services, etc. I'm excited for them to continue sponsoring the podcast. And back to the episode.
Twin brother.
Yep.
So 4 months into jiu-jitsu, he threw me in my first competition. I had no idea what I was doing. I lost in 15 seconds. I cried. I wanted to go home.
Wait, was it his idea?
Yeah, he was like, okay, you're going to compete right off the bat. And I'm like, I have no idea. I mean, I was 11 too, so I was just excited because, the coaches pump you up and everything.
Yeah, 100%.
And then the outfit that you're supposed to wear, it's called a gi, which is traditional jiu-jitsu. And then there's no gi, which is regular clothes, which is what I just did 2 weekends ago.
Okay, like the tighter stuff. Okay,
yep.
Gotcha.
And so it was a gi, and my gi was 5 times my size.
Yep.
This little 11-year-old who has no idea what jiu-jitsu is, and I got my ass handed to me in 15 seconds, and I cried so badly. My dad was like, please just stay for one more, and then I ended up staying for one more, winning, and I'm like, okay, guess I'm doing this for now.
That's awesome. So did you like it initially, or kind of just?
Yeah, so my first class for it, I kind of just took a knack with it. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. It's different, and I just stayed with it ever since.
That's awesome. So when did it really start to pick up for you? Because you mentioned earlier before we started filming that you had to go professional because no one wanted to wrestle you.
Okay, yeah. So that was for MMA.
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu, there's like pro. I mean, it's like kind of like pro. There's not like an actual like amateur and pro division,
Right.
but there's like tournaments that you are only invite only, which is what I just did 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
And then amateur MMA, I had trouble getting girls to fight me because they see my jiu-jitsu background, because I've won like worlds. I've won this like big tournament called ADCC trials. So ADCC is basically like the Olympics for jiu-jitsu. And then I won the trials to go there.
Yeah.
I ended up losing, but the winning the trials is like kind of like a big deal.
It's huge. Yeah.
So I won that. And then the girls would look me up and they'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm not fighting you. I'm like, man. So I was just like, all right, I guess I'm going to have to go pro.
That's hilarious. So, and also, what led to the fight with Gabi?
Okay, so that was like a huge invitational only like tournament. Mm-hmm. So it was for $30,000, like the first place prize. Second place was $15,000 and third place was $7,500.
That's crazy. Are you still in it, right?
No, it's over.
It's
yeah.
over now? Okay.
So my first match is against the girl who is 270 something pounds, maybe more. She wins everything just because she's big. She's not very technical. Yeah. She just kind of like bullies people, and she just literally wins because she's big. That's all I can tell you. So
obviously in the intro you'll see a clip of Amanda winning and completely spanking this girl, but I watched it like a few times, and you bullied her. Like, it's crazy because you would think like she's just so much bigger, but your technique was so good in the fight, and eventually you were able to choke her out. And the funniest part of the whole fight was when you were choking her out, and you were just doing this, like you're like all hype. You're like, dude, the fans are all into it, and I was like fuck yeah, Leve, let's go. Like, dude, I was so hyped watching that fight. Like, and that on YouTube has like what, almost 200,000 views on the clip. That's insane.
So it was funny. I started doing that because we got into it in the press conference the day before.
Yeah.
Because she didn't weigh in. Mm-hmm. Because I want to know her weight. I mean, Jesus Christ, she's like. You
want to know? She's a building. She's massive.
She's like 6'3" and she's like 270 something pounds. So I'm like, I want to know your weight, and I want the people to know your weight. So if I lose, I have a valid reason.
Or if you win.
Yeah, exactly.
To the moon.
I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to say that because I'm not a person to be cocky. Like, I'm not. That's not my thing.
So you're gonna stick with MMA, like the fighting part, right?
Yes.
Also.
Yes. Okay. So that was actually going to be like my exit tournament. Like, I was going to use that as like my last big jiu-jitsu tournament.
Okay.
But now I'm like ranked number 6 in the world for my weight class. So I'm like,
what's your weight class?
It's 145 and up.
Okay. Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm like,
you kind of have to do a few more tournaments, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, damn, I guess I have to stay in this now.
So, do you have any like inspirations that you follow that like you're interested in terms of like MMA, whether it's like in the male or female division?
So when I was younger, I loved George St. Pierre.
Yeah, GSP.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just because he was like the first like very well-rounded mixed martial artist. Mm-hmm. Like, most people just had like a certain style. Like, it was like, oh, they were a ground person or they were a striker, boxer, whatever it is. Right. He was like the first one that really put everything together with the wrestling and the striking and the ground and pound, everything. Right. So it was super cool to watch him, and he had such a cool like fan base too. Like, his followers were really cool. So I'm like,
I noticed you're trying to interact with your followers too, because like, you went from Our Lady of Calvary grade school softball player to now you're like an MMA fighter, and you got all these followers now, and like all the starts starting to come for you, and all the work's starting to pay off too. So you've been trying to interact with them more on Instagram, I saw, right?
Yeah, unsuccessfully.
You got, dude, my advice, you got to just throw whatever at the wall, see what sticks. Like, who cares? Like, you eventually find your niche. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what too? It's like, so because I'm not like big on social media to begin with, that when I start to post, I almost feel like fake. I'm like, this is such a fraud. I feel like a fraud.
Not really. So. The way I obviously, you have the McGregors, you have all them. They were never super into social media, but obviously you start progressing, getting bigger and better, and it's like you gotta just start putting your personality out there, because that's what's gonna help sell fights. You know what I mean? When you're fighting, it's like, yes, your talent is good, but also like if you don't have the think for example, I'm not gonna say McGregor, but I'll say like Kamaru Usman, like he's probably the pound for pound best fighter in the world, but like, he's not really that active on social media, so his fights aren't doing like the McGregor versus Diaz or the McGregor. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to see you doing this. I want to figure you doing the McGregor walk and stuff, but. No, I mean, show your personality out there because people are going to love that. And obviously, like I said, I've known you for forever. So it's like people are going to love like your personality and you're very down to earth, but also like you're able to talk your shit. Like I saw in the interview too, like you're just like trying to talk your shit. And I was like, dude, I swear to God, I was like, let's go, Leve. Like, let's go. Like we're in the MMA fight. Like I said, me and my dad were watching it on my phone in the living room because we couldn't get on the TV in time. And I was watching it, and the whole time, like when you won, I was like, let's go, Leve. Like, because I felt like you got that, like, you know, you got that chip on your shoulder, and like you got, you know, you're representing a lot more than you realize when you're fighting. So it's like it's really cool to see, and like, you know, I'm really proud and happy for you. So
thank you.
But yeah. So in terms of your next fight, what do you have planned next?
So I'm waiting to I signed with an organization called the PFL, which is what I fought for last time. So I'm waiting to make like another deal with them. So their organization is different from the UFC. So the UFC, they always have fights, right?
Yeah.
Where the PFL, they do like seasons.
Okay.
So you fight throughout the season, and depending on how you win, you get points based on how you win. So like, just say I got like a first round finish, I might get more points than if I did like a last round finish or if I lost.
And what, at the end of the season,
whoever has the most points goes into the playoffs, and they make a division, like a bracket for playoffs, and then you fight for $1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million. All right. No, that's pretty cool. I never heard of PFL, but I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah. So they're like the UFC is the top organization, and then it's probably like one championship or Bellator, and then the PFL.
Yeah. Okay. So the one championship, that's the one in.
It's like it's
not in the country, right? It's because I know Eddie Alvarez is fighting in that. Let me look it up real quick because I know Eddie Alvarez was in that. I actually watched his one fight. He got disqualified in the one, and then he ended up losing the other one. One championship, right?
Yep.
I think it's in like, let me see,
it's
Singapore.
Like okay, I was gonna say Thailand or something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But it's like what would you say? It's like UFC, Bellator, one, PFL?
Yep.
When you got recruited to PFL, like, what were they looking for? Just experience or also, like, talent, too? Were they scouting you?
Yeah, so they look for, I guess, more or less, like, the talent, and they will watch your fights to see if they think you're good enough to be in, like, their divisions.
Like, potential.
Yeah. So the PFL is really cool. They make you feel like a professional, dude. Everything you could think of, they already, like, have ready for you.
I saw the production was pretty good.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. And they pay really well. So like if I went to the UFC, they would probably pay me less than what the PFL is paying me.
So I heard that's a thing.
Yeah.
And I heard because PFL, I'm sure it's more just based on the fighting, and whereas like UFC, like I forget who I was talking to about this, but you have to sell yourself, like the brand deals. That's how McGregor makes his millions. Like not necessarily from UFC, maybe because he's one of the top fighters, but definitely try to just build your way up, and like that's like. It's super exciting just to see like you fight in that, and even PFL, I have to check it out and stuff like that. And so, are you gonna have more press conferences? Like I saw, is like always press conferences, like in weigh-ins and all that stuff. Like,
not always. So that was like a specific thing just for like this tournament.
Okay, so it's a big highlighted tournament.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like the ADCC, which I told you is like the Olympics of grappling.
Yeah.
So now that I'm ranked, I might just get invited to that.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have to do the trials.
Gotcha.
So if I do that, I get to go to Vegas. So that's pretty nice too. Free trip to Vegas.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Man.
It's really cool because jiu-jitsu opened up a lot of opportunities for me to be able to go travel.
Yeah.
Like I've been to that was in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
So I was like scooting around on those electric scooters around Texas. Yeah.
So where have you been traveling to recently because of fighting?
California is like a big one because jiu-jitsu's over there because like all the Brazilians love.
I know West Coast is big.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
The Brazilians love like the hot weather. So California and Florida.
Yep.
Texas. I've been to Nova Scotia for a tournament.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but California is like the big one. Virginia, North Carolina. Those are like they're not really good down there. I don't know why that is.
What?
Virginia, North Carolina is not really known for like anything. I feel like.
Nah,
but
besides like maybe their beaches, but yeah. I mean. So I wanted to ask too. So when do you think Uncle Dane is going to give you the call?
Oh, I hope so.
Soon, right?
I need a lot more experience.
Yeah, I know. So you said you've only had So was this your first MMA debut, professional MMA debut, right?
Yeah, so I have 2 amateur fights, and then I have like a boxing match, a kickboxing match, but this was my first pro fight.
Okay.
But man, it's so crazy. I wish everyone could feel the feeling of like stepping into a cage.
So this is what I wanted to ask you, and like it's crazy because I was able to ask Douglas, but like to ask a childhood friend, what was it like stepping into the octagon, like just like getting ready to fight another person, like what was that feeling? Because it was your first one, so that's big. What was your
it's crazy, especially with like all the lights on you and everything. So I've been working with like a mindset coach right before. I literally got this guy right before my PFL debut. So in jiu-jitsu, I noticed my like competition mindset was just like so terrible after I did the ADCC. Like I felt like I went in there and I just like I didn't perform good because my head wasn't right.
Right.
And then I kind of just like pushed it off to the side. And then my boyfriend was like, "Can you please talk to like a sports psychologist for me? Like his name's Mike. He runs this. It's called Wrestling Mindset." And I was like, "All right, I'll give it a try." But in all honesty, I was kind of like, I don't think I need it. Yeah. Even though I know I needed it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I started working with him like 5 days before my fight, and I just talked to him every single day on the phone. And what he was saying to me was just resonating so well about like, just being grateful to be able to go and compete, like.
Right.
Grateful for the opportunity, excited to compete, whereas I was like going in to compete and I was like nervous to lose.
Right.
So instead of being excited to win, I was nervous to lose, and it was just like messing up my mindset so bad for competition. Yeah,
I actually wanted to dive into that heavy because it's not often you get to talk to a professional like fighter who's just like your job is to go ahead and like beat the shit out of the other person. So like what was it? Yeah. So what were some of the things he was talking to you about?
Yeah. So basically it started with that. It's like, listing everything you're grateful for and seeing how happy you are when you start to list all those things that you're grateful for. And his whole thing is like producing dopamine in your brain before you go and compete or you go and fight, because you'll fight better than if you have cortisol, which is your nerves. So when you're nervous, your brain produces cortisol. So
and your body freezes?
Yeah. So it's like that fight or flight kind of mode. Or when you're happy and you're excited and you're more willing to perform at your best.
Right. That's because it loosens you up, right?
Yep.
Makes you less sick. So if you, I don't want you.
I gotta go on here. So I love Christmas, and he was like, "Do you like Christmas?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love Christmas." I'm like, literally, my middle name's Christmas because Noel is French for Christmas. Okay. So I'm like, my middle name's Christmas.
100%.
And he was like, "Okay, I want you to play Christmas music before you go out to your fight." So I have my boyfriend in my corner, and then my one striking coach, and then my jiu-jitsu coach. And my striking coach is like a very serious guy. And then my boyfriend, he's like super nervous, so he's not being really fun. But my jiu-jitsu coach, he was like jamming with me in the back, and I was just like happy, like loose. Oh my gosh, it was such a game changer.
You know what? You did look super comfortable in there. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like watching it, like you definitely, like obviously, like I'm nervous. Like I feel like watching my friend compete, but it's like you look super comfortable in there, and you look like you were born to be in there. And then even when you got dropped the first time, like you bounced back so well. Like you just like took her down and you went right to your roots. So like, what was your thoughts of when you got dropped that first time?
Yeah, so I wanted to at least do one round. I knew I know this sounds so terrible, but like I knew I would beat her on the ground. Like I already knew it.
You wanted to test yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so because I don't have the experience on my feet, I wanted to get at least one round of on my feet of just the experience of striking.
I noticed that, yeah, because you were standing up the whole fight, and I'm like, isn't she like jiu-jitsu? Like, so.
Yeah, so like I think I was actually winning on my feet if like with the connections and stuff. And then I got dropped with that one punch. So when it hit me, it didn't turn off anything besides my legs. So my brain was full aware of what was happening. It was the weirdest feeling because I had nothing beneath me. And I'm like, where do my legs go? And it felt like it went, like when I was rewatching it, I was like, wow, felt a lot longer than when it felt like in the moment. Like it felt like it went by so quickly when I was like in the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I just was able to grab her leg and take her down because she was able to charge forward.
I mean, yeah, I don't think she played that right at all. I mean, you were also right up. So, was that, did your legs go because of like, was it because of the jaw or because of the nerves? Like
I guess whatever the way she connected, it just turned something off in my brain, right?
But I mean, you came right back, so it was like, now. So I don't want to talk to you about game plan because obviously, for any potential fighters. But so are you gonna kind of stick to your guns now, or?
Yeah. So there's a Olympic boxer in my division, Clarissa Shields, and she talks a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And she just like one of her press conferences, she called out like Jake Paul basically. It was like,
oh my God.
They asked, I think, if she would ever fight on a Jake Paul card because she's a boxer, and she's like, no, I couldn't because I could beat him or something. Like, what is it with these female athletes calling out guys? Like,
yeah, I don't know why. I don't even know why she feels so entitled either. Like to think that she could be like thinking that she like because Jake Paul is beneath her. Like, no, Jake Paul in reality is going to get you brand deals. He's going to get you. Instead of you being at 13K, you're at 100K. Like after the fight, like, and he just signed a girl.
As I'm saying, it's not like he's like not being supportive of other boxers or anything. Yeah, which just rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot.
Well, hopefully you get your chance to put your mark on it, which is awesome. So after the fight, what was the reaction like? I want to know what your dad was saying. What was the
okay? So before my fight, my dad was like, you better stick to jiu-jitsu. And I've been working on my striking so much. And I told my dad, I'm like, because I had a different opponent. So, I had a different opponent before this girl. So I was supposed to go against an Olympic wrestler from France.
Wow.
And so I did not practice one takedown my whole entire fight camp because I thought I was going to stand up because my striking has gotten so much better. And I'm like, there's no way this girl who's primary focus is wrestling in the Olympics is going to have any type of striking.
Wow.
So I was like super excited just to showcase my striking.
Yeah.
And I'm like telling my dad, I'm like, I'm gonna knock this girl out. That like just messing with him. I'm like, I'm gonna. He's like, Amanda, you better be using your jiu-jitsu. Stop it. I'm like, nope, I'm gonna knock her out. And then the fight week, I'm still doing it to him on the phone, and he's like, you're not funny.
What happened? Why did you end up fighting?
So she didn't show up to get her visa.
Okay.
And then they made another appointment for her, and she didn't show up to the second one. And she said she had traffic or something. I'm like, okay, obviously you didn't want to fight then.
You're about to be in a professional fight, and you're going to say traffic is the issue? Like, come on now.
Yeah, your job is literally to show up to get a visa.
Right.
And it's not like the PFL does not pay good. The PFL pays freaking awesome.
Well, yeah.
So I don't know what her deal was. She just had no intention of fighting, I guess.
Yeah.
Which sucked because then I was like an emotional mess because this was like 2 days before I was supposed to leave.
Oh, so this was like...
So I was crying like someone died.
Dude, I would be crying too. Like, this is your big break.
Yeah,
and opportunity.
It was like an 8-week fight camp, and I just like busted my balls for 8 weeks, eating right, doing everything right possible.
Yeah.
And she dropped out, and I was hysterically crying. I'm like on the phone with my boyfriend. I'm like, he's like, it's okay. I'm like, no.
No tough love.
Yeah. So... Anyway, they ended up finding a new opponent.
That's
and
awesome.
Was
she mainly a striker?
Yeah, so she was a boxer, but not like a high level boxer. She had like a couple pro boxing matches, but nothing like crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think you definitely beat her on your feet. And like your striking did. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen your progression, but like you looked like your striking was good. Yeah. Definitely your punches were clean. And I wanted to dive into talk about that fight camp, like that 8 weeks, like that. Like, what is that process like, and how do you prepare for those fights?
So, usually I have to worry about my weight. So I walk around at like 160. So PFL, luckily, they only have a 155 division. So I usually fight at 145.
Okay.
I did a 135 cut before, and it was just way too much.
That's a lot.
Way too much.
Big weight cut. Yeah,
I literally like was so sunken in and everything. I literally just, oh my God, I looked horrible. So the 145 is like a comfortable weight for me to make. But again, luckily I just didn't have to worry about my weight. So I was just eating super clean. I usually train like 3-4 times a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How many days a week?
I usually have to take Sundays off.
Wow. So 6 days a week.
Yeah. So it varies. So some days it'll be like, I'll run in the morning. And then that I was working too. So I would run in the morning, go to work. And then right after work, I was going to like striking. And then I was going to jiu-jitsu. And then I was getting like another workout. Yeah, it was insane. So that's why I was, now you know why I was crying.
Yeah, dude. Like that's so many hours of just preparation. And even before the fight, in general, like,
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just so happy that worked out for you.
Yeah. I am too. Because I would have been, too, because I was supposed to fight for Bellator around this time last year. So that's a whole different story.
And then was that COVID?
No. So when you have to get your physical, you have to get an MRI of your brain. and I got an MRI in my brain.
We were talking about this.
Yeah, and something showed up on it, and they wouldn't clear me in time to fight. So I, again, crying hysterically because I'm like, and this was the week before my fight too. I'm like, crying hysterically because I just went through a weight cut that time and a fight camp.
Yeah.
And so missing that opportunity, and then finding out that everything was fine and it was all clear. And then I called Bellator back, and they were kind of just like iffy about it. So so I'm like, that's annoying. But this worked out better because one, they paid more, and I didn't have to cut as much weight.
I mean, you have the world on watch right now. You know what I mean? Just got to keep capitalizing. What's that? I always wanted to ask this too. Like, what's that weight cut like the night before the fight? Because don't you guys like have to drop like a crazy amount of weight?
Yeah. So you usually don't want to have to cut more. I mean, a lot of people will cut more than 10 pounds like the day before.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, but it's not worth it. And then once you get it down to a science, it's pretty easy. But I never cut more than 7 pounds of water weight the day before. So you're usually in a sauna suit, either working out or running. Okay. And you could do like different things in between. So sometimes I'll do like jump rope, or I'll hit light pads just to get
your body going.
Yeah, exactly. Hop in the sauna, go in there for like 20 minutes, come out, and then you wrap yourself in towels. So you just cover every part of your body. You wrap yourself up like a mummy. All right, it's beside your face, obviously. Yeah. And so it's your body cooling down, but not cooling down too fast. So you're still sweating, but you're not having to deal with the heat of the sauna. So then once you're done, your body like starts to slow down the sweating in the towels. You hop back into the sauna to get your body temperature back up. Wow. So that you're just constantly sweating everything out.
That's insane.
Yeah. So this weight cut, I didn't have a weight cut. I literally worked out, and then went downstairs just to make sure I was on weight still. So I just grabbed my dinner, which was steak, and 2 water bottles, and I stepped on the scale with it just to make sure I was all good. Yeah. And I'm like watching all these other girls cut weight, and I'm like, not me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I'm guessing you have a very good team around you as well.
Oh yeah. So I just got this team like around like a year ago, and I'm just surrounded by the best people. I'm so lucky. Yeah. And then my boyfriend's the best too, because he like meal preps everything for me. That's amazing. He loves cooking, and he wrestled all of his life.
That's pretty clutch.
Yeah. So he wrestled a year in college. So they taught him how to like properly cut weight. So he'll pack all my meals, tell me when to eat them, and I just eat them and do my workouts.
That's awesome. I love that. Like I said, like that seems like a really huge contributor to your success. I know in your social media you talk about a lot, like the people around you and stuff like that, which is awesome. I wanted to dive back into that mindset, because like, you know, you're getting ready for a camp 8 weeks long. You got to be going through there's got to be stuff going on, you know, in your head, whether it's like depression or anxiety or anything like that. And how does your mindset coach, and how do you yourself handle that stuff, and even before you go into the ring as well, or octagon?
So I think the best part about actual like fight camp that I find is that because I have a goal, that I actually don't have as much stress during a fight camp. Okay. So when I'm not in fight camp, I actually get more anxiety because I feel like I should be doing more, or I'm not doing enough, or whatever the case may be. Right. So the thing with the fight camp, so it's just that the constant every single day training is what takes the toll on you. Right. Like you just start to get almost like burnt out. So you have to really be careful about, you know, how you're taking your training, and you have to really take the days off if you need the days off. Right. And I think a lot of us, even in general, like throughout life, like people aren't taking the days off when they need the days off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that goes deeper than wrestling and MMA and boxing, everything, and fighting in general. It goes a lot deeper than that. You know, I mean, there's days where I think in my head, like, where I need to take days off, whether it's like for filming or whatever, and it's like that is super important. And was there any adversity? I mean, obviously there must have been, but what did you go through in terms of adversity when you were on your come up, like to get to where you want to be? Like,
I guess the most annoying part about this whole process was that I see girls on Instagram that are like, that I'm better than, who just post bikini pics and they get a ton of followers. So because they have more followers, they get more opportunities. So people will pick them up faster. Like, you know how you were saying, like you have to like sell yourself. Yeah. Which I don't. You could go on my thing. I don't even think I might have like one bikini pic, and it was when I cut weight.
Yeah, but it's not even your personality though.
Yeah.
Like you're just more so you're on it. It's hard to explain, but you're not like like you were always like a badass, if that makes sense. Like, you know, do you know what I'm saying? No, in like the weirdest way. Like even in grade school, like you're always that person people are like not like you were like not feared, but you're definitely respected just because you just knew like what you were, if that makes sense, like who you were. And that's something I always respected about you too. Like even when I saw you posting like about jiu-jitsu, I was like, oh, like that's so like I didn't initially understand it because like no one's really gonna initially understand what someone's doing in the beginning, and then once your vision starts to come to fruition, I'm sure you've been thinking about this moment. You're not even really there yet. You still have ways to go in terms of your goals personally, I'm sure. But it's like when you start to see results, it's like then everyone starts to come around, and then you start to, you know what I'm saying? So it's all kind of full circle, and it's like you're a perfect example of like going for your goals and just being tunnel vision. Because how long has this been? What, like 13 years in the making?
Yeah, so my yeah, basically. But like the MMA stuff's probably been since like 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So like having to like try to get fights, having fights fall through. Like
Right.
I've had amateur fights that I was like almost ready for that
Right.
the girls drop out.
Right.
So like people are just so flaky sometimes. It's
Right.
annoying. And then so that's what I was like super annoyed with the PFL was like I thought that this wouldn't happen at a professional level, right?
Right.
And then boom, the Olympic wrestler drops out. I'm like,
People drop out of fights all the time.
Yeah.
And everything, UFC and all that stuff. So what's next for you? What are your goals?
I want to keep fighting. If the PFL is going to pay me as well or even better, I'm probably going to stick with them for a while. So it's just a matter of where I'm going to be making the most money and the best opportunities.
Have you been doing have you got any brand deals yet or anything like that?
So I just got in contact with like a jiu-jitsu like brand that like would give me like custom gear and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I'm excited to work with that.
That's cool.
And then I also am sponsored by like a different like rash guard company. So it's like basically what you wear for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that was really cool too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
It's a good start. It's exciting.
yeah. So it's like cool now because after this match with like Gabi Garcia,
Yeah.
I've had so many messages of people like, oh, we want to have you on this. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, do it. You know, say yes to everything.
And then I get like a lot of like seminar opportunities. So
cool.
people will pay for me to come visit their school, and then I'll charge like however many, like $50 a person, and then I'll just teach what I know. And
Have you thought about going back to Calvary at all?
maybe
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was actually thinking about speaking there. I got asked.
maybe we could do a thing.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking we could do something like that because I got asked to speak at LaSalle at a class just because I've been really big on the nonprofit stuff and mental health and everything like that. But I was definitely thinking about doing Calvary and Ryan eventually. I had this Balls Life athlete, Zach Hoskins, basketball player, one arm, went D1 professional, and yeah, I think you would be really good to go with, bring you and just like speak to the kids and speak to them and just talk about, you know, just having a goal and just going for it, you know, because I'm sure, I don't know if you've ever experienced like feeling like an outcast or any like left out in any type of way. Like, I know you're a man to love, you're a badass and you're always like been yourself, but like I'm sure, you know, because you know you deal with bullshit in high school, like you deal with bullshit in grade school, like. So I definitely want to speak to these kids and just like instill in them like if you have a vision, if you have a goal, to go for it. Because there's people like Amanda Levy sitting right next to me who are doing exactly what they said they were going to do because they put in the effort and their confidence and their, you know, it was unwavering, you know. So I think that'd be huge to do that. So I will reach out to Miss Sullivan and,
Yeah,
and all them.
for sure. And I would actually like to go see like the teachers.
Yeah, I'm sure they would love to see you.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Have you heard? Have you talked to anybody from like back in the day? Like,
No, I don't. I barely even talked to anyone that went to high school
that's
with.
crazy. Yeah,
It's funny because doing jiu-jitsu and MMA and stuff, like I've acquired a lot of friends in that group, but like they're all older than me. Like I'm friends with like 30-something-year-olds, 40 or something year olds at 24, and the one couple has like a 21-year-old, and I'm like, in reality, I should be friends with her.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But you found your crowd, though, you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm lucky too because my boyfriend has like a ton of like great friends.
Yeah.
So like I have like 2 really close friends from like high school, but nothing like what he has. He has like a whole group, and it's pretty cool to see.
That's awesome. I mean, he sounds like he's pretty essential to your success in your life.
Oh, 100%. He's the best.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you met him and all. That's personal, but like I think that's really cool to see. Like
I beat him up.
Do you hear that? I'm sure.
So it's funny. The first time we met, I like swept him over in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, so you met him in a class.
Yeah. So
Let's go.
everyone,
Let's go, Leve.
everyone I tell, I'm like, oh, I swept him off his feet. He didn't sweep me off my feet.
That's actually really funny. That's awesome. So yeah. So and also, is your dad? I'm sure he's so pivotal in the process as well.
Oh, absolutely. So I mean, my dad has been like waiting for this moment since I was like 11.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So he was like beyond thrilled. And then even this Gabi Garcia fight, like knowing she was number 1, he literally sent me a text and was like, go shock the world. Yeah. Like you're going to shock the world.
I'll have it up on the screen right now, but I saw that and I was going to bring that up. That's amazing that your dad knew. Yeah. Yep. He already knew. I mean,
and then it's like cool because I have like my brother to share this with.
Right. And he's training a little bit, right?
Yep. Yeah. So, and then, my mom and my sister are super supportive. So I'm just lucky to I have everyone that I need.
You got all your people around you, and keep working because you're definitely inspiring people. And it seems like then it shows on your Instagram, like you get a lot of love, a lot of support, and those are the people that are going to get you to where you want to be for sure. I was going to ask you also, what is next? When is your next fight? Do you have any fights planned?
Yeah, so I still have nothing yet planned.
Nothing. So now you're just
hopefully soon.
Now you just have anxiety training because
basically.
That's awesome.
But it's cool because I went from like the fight camp and then I went right into a camp for this grappling tournament.
Yeah, I noticed that was a very quick turnaround.
Yeah, so it's like nice to have like a little chill moment where I can like learn stuff instead of like just sharpening the tools I already have.
Yeah, and it all kind of happens so fast. How are you handling that?
It was like super overwhelming the last weekend with that win because she was like so hated in the jiu-jitsu community because she takes steroids and
oh really? I couldn't tell. She's dude. Wait, like I said, check the intro. Go back to the intro if you haven't seen. This girl is so massive. Like I'm gonna make a cool like montage for you for this beginning. But nah, dude, she was huge. My dad was like, holy crap, like that's a woman. I'm like, dude, how tall is she? Like
6'2".
6'2". She looks like she's like 6'5".
Yeah, I know. She made me look like I was like 110 pounds.
She towered you, but like I said, you bullied her, man. Like you really did.
That was like the thing too. She bullies everybody. Like she'll like charge right at them when they first. Like I'm like, she's not bullying me.
No, that's awesome. Was that your mindset? So what was your mindset going into that match? Like,
my mindset was I have nothing to lose.
Right.
I woke up a little nervous that morning because I was nervous about the weight difference and getting hurt. So that's another reason why I wanted her to weigh in so that people see the weight difference because I think there should be a weight cap on that division. The fact that she's like 270 pounds, she's 100 pounds on us. You'll never see a guy in any of those divisions go against a guy that's 100 pounds heavier than them. It's just not going to happen.
No.
So I'm like, either make a middleweight division and make a heavyweight division or put a cap on the heavyweight division. Right. It's not fair to like all the other girls. We all weigh around the same weight. We're all around probably from 150 to 170.
I didn't even think of that. Like, because I mean, she was on top of you some of the times, but like I said, you handled it so well. And
now I know why girls break underneath her. Was on top of me and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. Was there ever a moment in the fight where you're like, this is it?
No.
I'm kidding.
There was never a moment where I'm like, because it takes a lot to mentally break me.
Yeah.
But when I was underneath her and she was like putting her shoulder over my face, so it was almost like I was getting suffocated and then claustrophobic at the same time. And I'm like, oh my God, this is awful.
Yeah. And then I noticed at the end, you were able to turn it around into a choke. And I'm surprised she didn't tap. How did she not? Was it locked in?
Yeah. So I think it's just because she's that big.
She just doesn't.
It felt like I was choking a tree.
Really?
Yeah.
But dude, like I said, the highlight of the moment or highlight of the entire match, I'll put it in this episode, but is when you're just doing this. I was just, dude, you have no idea how excited I was for you. Like I was like, let's fucking go.
The best part was the crowd. So
they got so hype.
They were hype as hell.
You put that in your Instagram.
Yeah, like they were not hype for any other match besides that match.
Yeah.
Like even when I came out for my next match that I ended up losing, but when they announced me, they still went crazy. So
really?
the other girl got announced and they were like, yeah.
Yeah, but you're.
And then when they announced me, they were like, what?
You're like the fan favorite. So if you don't, so what happened with that in that match?
So that went to decision. Physically, I couldn't recover from
Gabi.
The first one, and mentally, I couldn't recover because
it was such a high.
Like
that dopamine you're talking about. Yeah, it's so much.
It was like I basically felt like I won the tournament.
That kind of, I'm not gonna lie to you. There's like some movies where like they beat the number one team, then they go into a championship and lose, or the semis, whatever, because it's like that was a championship, because it really was. Because and honestly, it like if there is something to attribute to your career that you're going to have that's gonna be very big, it's gonna be that match.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because and even the MMA fight too is your debut. that was right then. And then what was like less than 2 weeks or a month?
It was like a little less than a month.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then you just went right for that and beat this girl Gabi, this Gabi chick, and where's she from?
She's from Brazil, but she lives in California now. Yeah, she barely speaks English. At the press conference, she's like, "You win as much as me, then you can make your own contract."
It's not in the contract, my weight. I'm like, bitch, I personally won't do nothing to you, but my friend Amanda will. So that's awesome. I mean, yeah, like I said, like you are a huge fan favorite, and I think that should definitely be an angle you go towards in the future, because like you're like your personality is so good, like you're so like it's so contagious. And I noticed like even when you beat the girl in the MMA fight, you're just like doing your dance and shit like that. I thought it was awesome because, dude, that had to have been like such a good feeling. Like,
oh my gosh, it's the best feeling. I wish everyone could feel that feeling of winning a fight, because there's something I guess so primal about fighting someone else. Yeah, and you almost feel like a modern day like gladiator.
Yeah, it's what it really reality. It is what it is.
So it just feels, one, you feel cool, and then two, you just feel like everything that you just worked for was so worth it.
Right. And then before your fight, were you just planning on, like you said, you just kind of kept your dopamine high? You were just kind of making it as loose as it is? Because I know there's some fight camps, like when I watch, like I love UFC, so I watch all that stuff. So it's like, I know some are pretty serious, but like, you're just pretty like laid back?
Yeah, so I tried to make it as like happy and laid back as possible, and then it was just again so nice because I didn't have to cut weight. Right. Like nobody realizes how much weight cutting takes a toll on you. Yeah. The whole fight camp, and then especially when you fight.
Yeah, there was a clip on YouTube of who is one of the top female fighters in the world, of her in the tub, like crying, cutting weight.
Oh, Cyborg.
Mm-hmm. Cyborg, yeah, because it's just like so stressful on you and the body and the brain as well.
That bath sucks too. So I forgot to mention that. So people will take Epsom salt baths and they put like rubbing alcohol in it, and you sit and it, like, it's supposed to like absorb the water, like take the water out of you. Which it does work. I had to do it one time and I wanted to cry. So I don't blame her for crying.
What, are you just tired? Like, are you?
It's just so hot and it's so uncomfortable, and then you already feel like crap because you're already so depleted from training, eating like a lot less, and not taking in as much water.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, do you look up to any of the female fighters? I know there's the one Russian girl who's like unreal, and she like doesn't know.
Oh, Valentina. Yeah, she's a badass.
Do you look up to any or no?
So everyone always asks me this, like when I do podcasts and stuff, and I never looked up to anyone. And I don't know if that sounds bad, but like I just never. No. I'm not a spectator of sports, so like I don't enjoy really watching them. Where I'm like, man, I'd rather be doing this
because you're in it.
Yeah. But like even like football and stuff, like I don't get into it as much as like everyone else does. Like I'll watch it, and especially big games. Like of course I'm gonna cheer on the Eagles, like something like that.
It's just because you're in it though. Like, you know what I mean. I always say this too, and by the way, I would say it's safe to say that's probably one of the first podcast questions I asked you. This is to say, but no, like I always say, there's the consumers and then there's the creators. You know, where in terms of like you're a creator, like you're one of the people that goes in there and does it. Whereas there's people who love to watch it, and that's fine. But you know, that's just a balance of life. There has to be that balance. You know what I mean? So I just had to ask because I was kind of curious. I know you said GSP, but I don't know if there's any female fighters. But I mean, the crazy part is that one day you'll competing against them. Yep. You know, and so what would you say 24 is relatively young for a fighter career?
Yeah, so actually especially for the women, like all the women are like in their late 20s, early 30s. So still have some time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, who knows? Maybe by the time
I can't believe we're 24 already.
I just turned 25 2 days ago.
Happy belated! Yeah, I forgot you were in October Review Day. Yeah, I remember that from grade school.
Yeah, man, I'm old, but that's exciting. My lucky number for you, I would say. I mean, who knows how fast it can happen, but 28. I think by the time you're 28, you'll have your first. You'll be on some kind of pay-per-view, like I won't say main card yet because you have to get your crazy wins, but I think that's when, like, you know, because like I said, you work so hard, and that's something I always respected about you too. Is like, you know, I would never really said nothing because I'm a spectator. I observe people before I really say anything, but like I notice how hard you're working, and like you said too, like never post bikini pictures shit because you're always working. Like you're working, you're in the lab, like you're always like putting your heart in there, and you always did that. You know, when my dad coached you and all that stuff, like you were always like super hard working. So it was like I always noticed it, and it didn't go unrecognized, obviously now, but like just know I did notice it, which is, you know, I really respect it.
Thank you.
I thought it was awesome, and it's so, like I said, it's so exciting just to see like somebody, especially from our neighborhood, doing well too.
You know, it's really funny.
Yeah.
Every time I talk, everyone mentions how bad my Philly accent is.
Really?
Yeah. My wrestling mindset coach guy, he is from Texas, and so I like talk to him on the phone. So he'll be like, "Oh my gosh, your Philly accent just cracks me up." And
That's
then
crazy,
when I went to another podcast today, he's
Yeah.
like, "I knew you were from Philly because I heard your accent, and I'm from Philly." I'm like, "Oh, no, cool."
Crazy. But I don't notice it. I think I think you talk normal. Like,
Yeah, right. We talk normal. What are you talking about?
Fuck you mean? No. But yeah, that's awesome. But Levy, dude, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. Like, I wish you the most success in the world. I love that you have a great support system behind you, and I just hope you keep inspiring, keep being the Giant Slayer, keep being the fan favorite, and definitely be active on social media, because I know you're on the edge, but just learn, man. Just learn and just go for it and see what happens. You know, like this podcast you asked earlier, like I had one camera and about a glass of wine, like, and then now I got like lights. I got a whole thing. I'm moving into a new set in Fishtown. You know, I'm getting out of here. It's probably
You're gonna be the next Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'll go for Rogan, but you know, do speak.
I mean, he follows me now, so I'll put in a good word with
subtle
you.
flex, Joe Rogan. I should have mentioned this earlier. Joe Rogan follows you on Instagram.
Yeah, obviously, people, I had to mention that.
No, I want to talk about it. So like, he follows you on Instagram. That's amazing. So,
yeah.
So
the day after the Gabi fight, I got a text message from someone, and they were like, "Dude, I was just on Joe Rogan's page. I guess you know." I'm like, "Know what?" And then I went to his page because I thought maybe he like posted like a clip of my match.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't see anything. So I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Dude, he follows you." And I went to my followers. I'm like, to my boyfriend, "Christian, Joe Rogan follows me."
What did he say?
My boyfriend's like, "No way." I'm like, "Yes." I'm like texting my dad and my mom. I'm like, "Joe Rogan follows me."
Dude, that's so sick. He should hit him up.
Yeah.
You might have you on as a guest.
I know. I said to my boyfriend, because we were in Austin, Texas, and he lives there now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I should just hit up Joe Rogan and be like, "Listen, I'm in Austin.
I just be live. That'd be pretty fun.
Just saying, I leave on Tuesday."
Hey, that'd be so fun, dude. That'd be a pretty cool experience. He has a nice little studio going on.
And dude, Austin, Texas barbecue.
Good.
Dude,
I've never been.
It's so freaking good.
I've been in Nashville. I went in like that strip, but I've never been to Texas. I'll have to go there and try it out.
It's really nice.
That's awesome though.
Definitely 10 out of 10 for Austin, Texas.
Well, listen, remember when you're on Rogan that you were on the Loft first.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm gonna be like, "Yo, shout out to the Loft."
Yeah, shout out to the Loft. Rogan's be like, "Oh, all right. But nah, Levy, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. I wish you the best. I mean, keep working your ass off, because it's definitely paying off. And for people listening and people watching, like, just realize that she was just a softball player, basketball player from Calvary, like, you know, but she always had a vision, always had a goal, and now it's like, you know, you're killing it, like, you're doing your thing, and this is another thing too, like, this wasn't overnight, I'm sure, right? This is just constant.
No, it's just a bunch of little goals, and then just keep reaching them, gets you motivated, and then it sets you forward for a big goal.
Yeah, that's actually a really good mindset for sure. Because like I know people get super overwhelmed when they think of the big goal like they have. Like, you thinking about fighting in the UFC could definitely keep you up at night. But if you say, "Hey, listen, I want to do PFL, take over there, take over one, take over," you know, just little by little steps, and even like your jiu-jitsu matches, like, you know, so big milestone you just hit. Keep going, keep working. This is Amanda Levy on the Loft. I'm Kevin Nichols. That's Amanda Levy. Be sure to check her out on her social medias. I'll have them all linked below. What's your Instagram?
Amanda Levy _MMA.
Okay. And then are you on Twitter at all or no?
I mean, not really. Twitter's just like a bunch of haters and complainers.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so check her out on Instagram. I'll have the links in the description. Also check out the sponsors for this episode. And thank you guys. We're almost at 1,000 subs, by the way. We're about to hit 800. So if you guys share your support, it means the world. And thank you guys for listening. Levy.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, Levy. Well, to keep doing your thing, keep killing it. Like I said, I'm Kevin Nichols. That's Amanda Levy, and it's The Loft. Peace.
Bye, guys.